welcome to the summary of 2017. And instead of me pulling up all my finds, which I'm very fond of, I choose 5 different items of which I'm really happy. And yeah, I would like to tell you some things about it. We'll start off with this US World War II dog tag. And I don't have to tell you that I've blurred the name in the past, and now I'm showing it to you. I want to tell you all about it, all of the things that I could find, and I hope you enjoy it. So the first thing I want to mention is that this is called a Type 3 dog tag. It was issued between the 20th of July 1943 and the 31st of March in 1944. This is because the information of next of kin is removed, which they started doing on the 20th of July 1943. Starting the 31st of March 1944, the army started to replace the surname with the first name. Here you can see it's George Bonenfant, which was first name first, surname second, and then after the 31st of March they changed it. So now we know that this is considered a Type 3 dog tag, which places us in a specific time frame. The first line shows the name of the soldier, which is obviously George Bonenfant. The second line shows a bit more. The first part we see 6134662. This is his army serial number. This is actually really cool because it tells that the soldier was already a volunteer before the 30th of June 1940. It also tells that the volunteer was not a World War I veteran, because the numbers ran up till 5,900,096,630, a whole mouthful of numbers, and that he was significantly older than the average volunteer draftee inducted at the outbreak of World War II. Starting the 30th of June 1940, the last number 7,070,199 was issued before a new system was introduced on the 1st of July that year. So this guy signed up before 537,000 other soldiers did before the 1st of July 1940. Which roughly translates to there were 1 million other soldiers after him before the 1st of July 1940. That is, in my eyes, very special to find out. The second part, T41, is the indication in which year the soldier got his tetanus immunization. Obviously this was 1941. Next to this we have the tetanus toxoid. I have absolutely no idea why it says the number 43 here, maybe also the year of a shot against tetanus. I don't know. The last part, the A, stands for the blood type of the soldier. Last but not least, the small part in the lower right corner, there you can see a little C. This is the religion of the soldier, which is obviously Catholic. Well, I must say, this is one of my favorite finds this year. It is an absolutely gorgeous state and probably the most personal item I can get. But now for the search online. I finally found something online. I used the website of the World War II enlistment. A lot of records were placed there, which is really helpful, but there was a problem. I searched on the serial number, but that was to no avail. But when I searched on the name, I finally discovered the search on surname option. I found our soldier. Although I strongly believe that the dates on the site are a bit off, here's what I found. His residence was in Chittenden, Vermont, a really small village somewhere in the nature on a 3-hour drive from his place of enlistment, which was in Fort Devens, Massachusetts. I'm sorry, I'm not an American. His date of birth is the 21st of February 1911, which absolutely correlates with the earlier findings of the Type 3 dog tag and his number in the 6 million, which was enlisted before all the young volunteers. At some point he was married, which the website shows, and he passed away on the 22th of August 1991. To be honest, reading that was a real relief for me, because that means he survived the war. The only thing that bothers me is the date of enlistment stated on the website. It says 30th of September 1945. This is in so many ways a problem with the things I've found first. First of all, the army serial number, which indicates that he got the number before the 1st of July 1940. The second is the Type 3 dog tag, which was only made between the latter part of 1943 and the spring of 1944. And last but not least, the fact that where I found the dog tag in the Hurtgenwald, the US Army was long gone in 1945. The war in Germany ended in early May of 1945. The place where I found the dog tag only saw heavy fighting and American occupation in 1944 and maybe the very earliest part of 1945. So that is all I can tell you about the dog tag. It is honestly the find of a lifetime, and I might be extending my search in 2018 to find any living relative to the soldier to give back what belongs to their family. The MjrCarnyx. So unfortunately I cannot tell you the same awesome story as I could on the US dog tag. Mainly because this is no name on it, but also for sure because the Germans did not have all the information on the dog tags anymore later in the war. But the nice thing is that I heard about the stories in that area. Just before the 12th of September 1944, the American soldiers had worked themselves through the whole of Belgium. And the last part, before they entered the Netherlands, they conquered the German flag post there. The men were held prisoner, and rumor has it that they tried to flee the POW camp. I have no idea if they succeeded, by the way, because the story doesn't tell it. This dog tag was found at the place where we had a field kitchen and a lot of trenches, a more permanent resting place. It is easy to fantasize the German soldiers being held in the trench and suddenly made a move for it. Breaking the string of his MjrCarnyx marker while doing that and leave it there, stamped in the ground. And at least some part of it correlates with the truth. Unfortunately, I have no good source, but a fellow World War II enthusiast told me on social media that the MjrCarnyx marker was from the Schwere Flak battery. And this was from around 3.3 1944, so the 3rd of March. And starting the 22nd of April 1944, it was called the Battery Schwere Flakabteilung 600. And starting from the 3rd of June that year, it was called the Battery Gemischte Flakabteilung. So it's about that range, and that probably is the last one of which the dog tag belongs to. I don't know how he found it out. I don't know where his evidence is. I asked him, so I might be getting that a little bit later. But let's see. At least I got some information about it. And if it was a flag abteiling, I know it was there. We found the flag barrel over there. So yeah, it all sounds a little bit truthful. Yeah, bit fantasy here and there, but it's okay. But we wandered off a bit. I haven't told you what can be seen on this beautiful item. First, it's the army serial number of 63125. This tells us some bit. Next is the kind of forcefully stamped T, which is probably something like he got a tetanus shot. It is over here. The third thing is 29C, which I have absolutely no idea about what it means. Catholic is written with a K in German, so I wouldn't know what else it could be. Maybe a regiment? Let me know if you know. Last but not least is the blood type, which is A again. I actually contacted the German authorities to ask if they could give me more intelligence, but they do not accept these kinds of requests. Mainly because the MjrCarnyx markings keep being fined on a daily basis, and they can simply not keep up with the work. I even offered to pay for it, but to no avail. Maybe in the future they will be open for this kind of stuff. I sincerely hope so, because I would love to find out which person correlates with this dog tag. It is somewhere before the 12th of September 1944 that the US soldiers of the Old Hickory Division lay dormant in the Belgian forest, close to the border of the Netherlands. The heat is unbearable, but doesn't even come close to the waiting game. The brave soldiers battled their way through Belgium with relative ease and now had to wait before liberating the Netherlands. On the edge of a forest, in a deep oval-shaped trench, two soldiers spied across the horizon looking for the crowds. One of them, a rifleman, proudly displayed his marksman pin on his chest. "Do you also have one?" the man asked to his companion. "It's on my jacket," the man replied, without taking his eyes off the landscape. Suddenly loud noises of shouting men and rifle fires sounded through the forest. "The POWs are escaping!" Both men then jumped up and ran to the commotion, leaving the jacket and its marksman's badge to the now peaceful forest. Well, I hope you like my little story there. It's a bit full of fantasy, but it is what I imagined happened over there. Could be completely different, of course, but hey, fantasizing is part of the hobby. The marksman badge was actually achieved by shooting at a range and getting a certain percentage of hits. Marksman, being the lesser of the three, was about 60% hits on average. It was worn on official US Army clothing by enlisted soldiers and non-commissioned officers. The officers and others were allowed to wear it, but as I have read it, it wasn't common to do so. I have no idea why. It is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful find. The medallion. This is still a big blank item in my possession. I have searched for many hours on the internet, asked on several forums and asked the archaeologists. None of them had an exact match to what I might have found. Of course I found out a few things about it. First, it's English. This is because one side shows George V. He was the King of the United Kingdom from 1910 till 1936, all through the First World War. The text around his head reads, "Georgvis vi die gra prit om Rex." I have no idea what it means and I couldn't tell you otherwise. It is the same text as on the half-crown coin minted from 1911 till 1919. Also on the 1 shilling coins, by the way. So I imagine it is from around that time frame. One might think that the medal is a coin turned into some sort of pendant. Well, my thoughts is exactly. Only the backside is completely different, let alone the material, which is aluminium. On the backside it shows a ship sailing to the right with the following text around it. Anno Domini MDCLXIII, which translates to 1663 of the Christian calendar. I researched as well for events happening on that year, especially around ships and such, but I could only find out that the English Parliament passed the Second Navigation Act, requiring that all goods bound for American colonies have to be sent in English ships from English ports. There was also one more thing. The Dutch settlers in New Amsterdam surrendered to the British fleet, which was the reason for changing the city's name to New York. That's about it, all I could find out about it, and yeah, it's an amazing item of which I thought it was a toy, so I'm really glad I took it with me. The last one, the Aviator Sunglasses. Absolutely stunning this is. I love both the dog tag and the MjrCarnyx marker, but this thing is special. I found it between a field of mortar holes, which are still the same as 70 plus years ago. At first I was absolutely convinced these glasses were something modern, but whilst looking them up at home, I discovered the joyful truth. World War II US Calichrome gold Ray-Ban aviator glasses in a 12-karat gold frame. Absolutely awesome. I have absolutely no clue as to think how they got there, other than that one of the soldiers there lost them. It could have been that he was a pilot or that he won the glasses in a game of some sort, but the fact is that it was there, that I found them there and that they're now here, unearthed and displayed for all to see, so that we can enjoy its historical value. Well, that was it for the summary, guys. I hope you liked my videos of the past year. I will gladly go on in the next year providing you with more unearthed history, regardless how big or how small, so that we don't forget about the brave men and women who fought for their country in the beliefs of their superiors. Again, thanks for watching, and I wish you all the best and a stunning 2018. Cheers!